Hey friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm going to paint some black-eyed Susans today. Yellow daisies. I've got a game plan. So we're going to have some structure. I'm going to have a high horizon line, and then I'm going to have a value change here, and I just scribbled out where some of my daisies or my black-eyed Susans are going to go. Okay, let's just jump right in. Okay, let's set the table. I've got an 8" by 8" canvas panel from US Art Supply. I like that they are 100% cotton, archival quality, acid-free. Maybe it might focus if I get it closer. I just eyeballed. I measured with my fingers, you know, like almost 3-4 fingers for this distance, you know, 2 fingers for this space, that kind of thing, and just marked out my game plan. And this will give us structure and a way into the painting. Just kind of makes it a little easier, actually more fun to paint if you figure out some of the basic structure. Okay, and then I put out titanium white. You can use heavy body too. I just happen to have these sitting here for a painting we're going to do live tonight. Cad yellow medium hue, quinacridone magenta, so basically primaries, because quinacridone will make pretty oranges and reds with the cad yellow. What I put out phthaloblue green shade. I meant to put out phthaloblue because I want purples. And how do I know I want purples? Well, part of it is just cuz. But if I'm going to paint yellow flowers, purples will be nice to have in the painting, because they are primary colors, and Mars black. So while we're doing this in real time, I think I'm going to want quite a bit of magenta. So I left space for mixing. If you don't, you can just scoot them over. Let's take a little bit of the phthalo blue green shade and see what kind of purple we get. Oh, I think that's going to be fine. I was just going to put out phthalo blue. I think we would have gotten a better purple with the phthalo blue. That's pretty. You can kind of see the purple color against the white plate. If you can't see it, like you're mixing on a gray palette, just put a little white and test it. Okay, so we're going to be okay. We'll just use that. I'm going to paint my dark shapes. These are trees in the background. Oh, so I'm going to need to mix some greens. I'm going to time lapse it because I'm just going to use excuse me, yellow, magenta, and the blue to mix all my colors. So I'm going to speed that part up, and then I'll be back. I thought I'd show you how I got the idea for the angle. This photo's on Unsplash. I'll link it in this video's description. But see, the trees are really dark, a little bit of sky. But I think I'm gonna put some purple dirt in. I like to do that. And then these aren't black-eyed Susans, but this photo is on Unsplash. I think I've painted from this before. And whoop, there's the reference photo I used for Susie. I can link this video in the description. I painted some black-eyed Susans, so here I thought I'd include this as a reference, one of my own paintings, because I liked how a lot of the flowers came out. And I like that I tied the blue sky in. I'm not sure if I'll tie the blue sky in or some purples, but it reminds me that that works well. These, like, can you see that little blue stroke? Okay, so that's how it all got inspired by that first photo. Here, I'll go back to it. Isn't that pretty? We could actually paint that one as is. That's fun. Should probably do that. Okay, So I'm going to take a 3/4 inch flat brush from Royal and Lang Nickel. It's their Zen line. It's a really nice brush. I really like these. And I mixed phthaloblue green shade and white, and I put a little black in it to mute it down. I put some orange in it because there's yellow in the orange, there's yellow in this blue. It was going a little green on me. So then I came, oh, I'm getting paint on my hand. I came back and just went with the black to mute it. So let's paint in the sky. Oh, and I think my sun direction is going to be coming from top left. I put that in there just so it reminds me. Okay, is everything in frame? Well, you know what I might do is stick my tape roll underneath here. Of course, that'll make it closer to the camera. Oh, I think that'll work. That way I can kind of paint the edges too. Okay. Normally I would hold things in my, like I would hold this in my hand to paint it. Which is also why my palettes, or most of the time actually if I'm painting an easel, I hold my palette with my left hand, so I'm painting with my right. Which is why my palette seems like it might be on a weird side. It's because a lot of times I'm holding it. So I'm just going to do a dab sky. Just dab, dab. Change my brush stroke direction a little bit. I tried erasing some of my chalk pastel, but I got it on kind of heavy. So we'll just have it become part of the painting. Well, that's kind of pretty. I like that. And then I like to paint the edges because I sell these, and oh, I don't have one handy, in little black easels that come with the painting. So if they don't want to frame it, they don't have to. I'm making that corner a little darker just to help keep us in the painting. It's not going to be a huge element to keep us in the painting, but it might help a little. And then I might come back after I get more of it done and decide, oh, you know, don't need it, don't like it, something like that. I'm really not making any changes, so I probably should stop. I think I'm going to paint a little, just to remind me I'm going to want some sky holes. That might be a little too soon to do that. Oops. Okay. So normally I would just dry that with a hairdryer. I'm going to clean up my brush and I'll be right back. Okay, I moved my camera up just a little bit to try to get a little more videoing space, and I mixed a brown. So basically you can mix brown a lot of different ways. I like to take the orange and a little bit of black and mix the brown, and then I just add quinacridone and yellow to my liking. But I thought I might want a little brown in these trees. I'm going to start with this sort of muted gray color. Oops, I've got, hang on, this is going to wiggle a little bit. I've got cords hanging down. Sorry about the wiggle. I'm just going to paint in. So I'm working back to front. So what's furthest back? And then I'm kind of going to work darker to lighter. We're just going to kind of Bob Ross it. So put in more dabs. You can see this color, this green's kind of is transparent. Not kind of, it is transparent. Because my yellow and my, gosh, I think the phthalo blue, oh yeah, the phthalo blue says it's quite transparent. So one way to get around that is you could add just a little bit of white. I don't know if we really need to do that, but I'll just do it anyway. Can you see how that covers a little bit better? You don't see quite so much of the canvas coming through. That'll make it look a little more chalky too, which isn't necessarily bad. I just want to get kind of a medium value down. And I'm going to use the corner of my brush to already start to hint it. Oops, I wasn't watching I'm looking around my phone to paint this. I don't recommend that. But I like sharing my art journey with you guys, and it's super fun because you guys share your art journey with me in the Facebook group. I really like that. So I'm kind of thinking some leaves. I'm almost stamping. You can almost go straight up and down. And I've covered up my sky holes. I put them in there to help remind me. And the paint's running out of my brush. But you don't have to try and mimic everything I do. Paint your bigger shapes first, especially with, this is sort of a landscape. And really I'm getting too fussy, but it's fun for me to kind of blob and dab and, okay. I wonder if we just kind of want to make that a little more prominent. And it's drying. One thing I like, it's winter time here. One thing I like about that is the paint dries fast. And if you don't have a hair dryer, like oh, I could dry it because I'm going to stop the video. You could just paint another section. Just work on a different area and let one area dry. Okay. We could add some black to get some darker. We could add some brown, which I was thinking I might do. We could add a little purple. Should we tie a little purple up in here? Maybe kind of make our darkest area, since this is going to hopefully lead us in, maybe we want a dark area up here. And I don't know if I like that. We're just going to play. It's going to be too light. Oh no, it really isn't. I'm just going to mute this down over on this side, just because it might help me keep the viewer in the painting. Just kind of change my brush stroke direction. Oops. Is everything sort of in frame and square? Okay. I'm probably going to end up covering it because as I get darker. All right, now I'm going to start to think sort of like ball shapes almost, you know, like it's dark on the right. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Well, we could put in I'm just trying to mix a little. I'm starting to scrub off the wet paint instead of putting on more paint. I still make this too more complicated than it needs to be. That could be just like 2 values and 2 colors. But that's why we paint and practice and play. Until we figure, and we just learn stuff every time. I don't really realize it, but when I look back, I'm like, oh, I'm better at that. I'm a little bit better at that. Or like with the cow painting I showed Susie with the black-eyed Susans. I'm softening the green down here. I'm like, ooh, I really like those flowers. So then I pull that up and try to get that going again. And how do I know what I want? Well, I want muted colors because I'm off in the distance. And really I want dark, even though these are kind of light. And then I'm trying to just think some bigger shapes because I tend to paint too much detail and then I'll come back and go, don't do that, because I just really have a strong tendency to paint too many little detail-y things. That's looking better, I think. I don't know how it's going to look on video. It's like I always go for detail too fast. Let me know if you guys do that. Are you the too much detail too fast club? There. It's interesting how that sort of starts to make tree shapes, isn't it? I kind of want this darker even though I lightened it. Could mute that green down even more. I'm just dabbing. Let's grab a little blue. Just scaring me is all. We have to come back with my purple. That happens. I'll paint stuff out and I have to put it back in. I'm just trying to go darker. That's all I'm trying to do here. And then keep this more muted over there. Darker, random. Those are the thoughts that run through my head. And then I wipe off my brush. Come back with that shape I had. I'm kind of losing it. I'm just wiping my brush off of my paper towel. This is where you can make mud and it's pretty. Okay. Bring that down maybe. And it's probably better than I think. It's just that I'm so focused on it right now, if that makes sense. Sometimes you just need to stop and... I'm trying to have like hints of a little bit of... I don't know if it's changing. I don't know if the paint's coming off. I'm almost picking up a little bit of paint from over there because it's still kind of wet. I'm just trying to get some soft hints of leaves. That still might be too busy. And when the purple mixes with the green, it goes kind of red. Oh, actually it's pretty red when I set it down too. It just looks more purple on my palette. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just totally, it's still a little wet and the paint still moves a little bit. I'll just kind of smear it. Sometimes that looks better. Okay, I'm gonna wash out my brush and I'll be back. Okay, I think that's working better than I think. I'm gonna grab, and it's okay, I want it chalky. I'm just trying to load up. Normally I would spread out more. Oh, it would be in frame, sort of. I'm just trying to keep everything so you guys can see it. Give yourself more room to work, or have two palettes. You know, have like blues and greens and browns and blacks on one palette, or you can put your purple in there and then have warmer colors on another palette. I keep darkening and lightening. I'm just playing with it. Here we can almost just put a tree in here. I don't know if we're gonna like that, but we'll do it. Connect that. I'm just looking at shapes, kind of. Okay, you can play with this a lot. But I think I should quit, and then I don't. That means I'm getting... You know what might help us is a little bit of sky hole. Or sometimes like just to help, I'll just like sort of just do goofy things that would scare. It does scare me, but sometimes that's not doing anything. Sometimes a little twisting helps me get just a little detail without doing much. And we're gonna have flowers coming up and over it. Okay, instead of washing out my brush, or maybe I'll just do a quick rinse. I stopped you guys don't need to see me washing out my brush. So you could go down to a smaller brush if it makes you more comfortable. And I might here. Okay, so what if we put so your sky hole should be a little darker than your sky, but we have kind of a mottled sky, kind of a muddled. What adjective should I use? Okay, so I'm gonna smear or dab with my finger. Let's just break that line. I might have to come back and reinforce some of those. I think a lot of artists call these sky holes. Let me know what you call them. Of course, I tend to want to kind of do them in all the dips. And on the left, let's put some here on the right. And they make me nervous, so I just kind of, like with everything, I sneak up on them. I'm trying to be random. Okay, I think we might be good. We'll see how it dries. It might need a little more help. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, my thought was I might want this darker, but let's get some other stuff in here. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of white. That's more white than I wanted. I'm going to want this corner darker. Grab some of that brown. Is that in frame? It's kind of a rusty brown. It's pretty. I like that. And this might need a couple coats. Or a little white, even though it lightens it up. Will give you more opacity and you come back with more color. And darken it up. You'll figure out what you like to do. Even a little black. I'm just playing. Felt like I could hear somebody, how does she know how to do that? I don't, and sometimes I like other paintings better. I'm just thinking dark corner is my biggest thought. I'm going to wipe off my brush because it's pretty loaded with blue. Grab a little white. Grab a little purple. Yeah, I was hoping it'd be a little dirty. And if it dries on you, just let it dry. I grabbed a little dark on my corner of my brush. Oh, and then I wiped it off because I got scared. I get scared a lot. Maybe that's a little too dramatic of a word, but I get a little nervous. It's funny because I'm just underpainting. I'm just trying to mute the purple a little bit. There. So lighter as you go back off into the distance. In general. You could also paint this way, but I think I'm going to load it up with so many flowers that it's not going to matter too much. But I do kind of want also keep that brush stroke direction. I grab just a little bit of black again, just set it on there, a little bit of white. So gray that down just a little bit more. You don't have to get this fussy, it's just fun for me. It's starting to dry. Excuse me, I'm looking down. Grab a little water. Sometimes if I go with like a light touch, I can get away with the fact that it's drying and kind of get rid of some of those brush marks. I don't know that you have to. Sometimes I just do things because it's relaxing. I like the colors, it's pretty. I'm gonna put a little, let's see, I'm gonna turn this. Okay, are we in frame? Okay, I'm gonna make this corner dark too, but I'm gonna make it a different color. So I picked up black. Oops, sorry. Trying to see the top of my phone. Pick up some purple. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, we could actually kind of darken that edge. That might be kind of interesting and we might not like it. We'll just have to see. Grab a little white. Okay, I'm going to paint the edges off camera and I'll be back. Okay, so one thing, I don't know if it really needs it, but it just popped into my head. So this is a, gosh, I think it's a 3/8 inch craft brush from Michaels. Yeah. So not quite a 1/2 inch. I just thought this looked a little stormy. Take some straight up white and I might need some blue. Does that look a little happier? Like I said, sometimes I paint out stuff that I think I need. And I don't know if I like the sky hulls, but I don't think we'll worry about it. But I definitely think I'm gonna want darker trees. But let's keep going. I think I'm gonna have greens. This might be too much color. Right now it's bothering me, but it's awfully pretty dirt. Okay, so let's grab a little bit of black. Ooh, my brush is wet. I cleaned it out. All right, and some white. Let's just stick with our purple. Could break that line for fun. I'm laughing like, is that really that fun? Sometimes it's a good idea to, you know, break lines and change it up. Keep your basic structure. So lighter off into the distance, which is one reason why I'm kind of dragging some of that light over. Let's grab a little white. Just a little bit of black. A little bit of purple. So I have more paint to work with. wasn't enough paint. I'm just gonna grab some white. We might want so I'm thinking a little darker, or we could go lighter with the sky if you want the edge to stay there, which I think I do for now. We'll figure that out as we go. I'm not grabbing paint. There we go. Actually grab a little brown. Got an awful lot of purple going. I think that's going to bother me. Already is bothering me. Try and just shift your colors as a easy tip. We'll have it get warmer as we get closer. Maybe a little yellow. Ooh, that's kind of juicy. Some of this just comes with practice. You can't do it all. You know, practice your drawing, practice your brush skills. You can't just, well, you can. But I mean, you might not. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to paint and talk. It takes a while. You can't, like, I would like work on brush skills for a while and then work on drawing skills for a while. You know, that kind of stuff. It's kind of, for me, it would be hard to do it all at once. I was a drawer as a kid. I'm gonna break that line just because it's also easy. Okay. Yeah, that worries me a little bit, all that color, but I think it's going to be okay. I actually like the yellow. Kind of warmed it up. So sometimes I just go back because I'm getting brush marks. And so I go like with a lighter sweeping sweep up stroke, or you could sweep up this way too. And then I'm also trying to paint the sides. I like that it gets a little lighter there in the background. Okay, I'm gonna dry this with a hair dryer. I'm questioning, like, or do I wanna, maybe I'll just wipe off my brush on a paper towel. And let's go with some brown, maybe. Maybe a pinch of black and a pinch of brown. I still like the idea of having a dark area right here. Where's my sketch? So my stars of the show are basically right here, but that one looks right there. Of course, I might not draw it quite the same. We could do a little blue. I think I'm gonna stick with black just because it's warmer. I'm gonna wipe off my brush. Let's just kind of smear it. Then we'll come back with a little more. Probably should just leave it. I always do that. Grab a little black, just make it a little darker at the bottom. Could kind of emphasize that highlight of a trunk. You could make these bluer, these trees. So this kind of lines up. I could make it come up higher, but I think I'll just make this, or maybe I'll just we'll just kind of wiggle in up in there. Do you guys like wiggle in? I'm gonna grab a little green and knock this back a little bit. Maybe a little white, a little green. It's easier, put out more paint, put out bigger paint puddles. I just want to make sure it's all on camera for you guys, in frame. Probably should repeat that more often. Just shortening this. Okay, I think that's good. I think it's very pretty. Okay guys, I'm gonna clean out my brush, dry this with a hairdryer, and I'll be back. Okay, just so you know, this painting will take a lot longer than the video. I time-lapsed a little bit. I went and took a little break and washed my brush, those kinds of things. Oh, where is my brush? Oh, here it is. And I'm looking at my reference photo, and I still think I want it stronger. Because I made that shorter. Oh, I'm not sure what I want to do here. I think I'm going to go higher. Oops. I'm going to grab a corner, just a pinch of water. And maybe just take my finger. Just scrub maybe. There, I like that better. Okay. We broke up this line. We could break up this line. Make it less straight. I think my brush has run out of color. Okay, I like that better. I don't know if it is better. I like it better for now. We'll see. Okay, another thing that I keep thinking is, like, do I want to add some greens and cover up some of this purple? I want to keep it simple. Another thing you can do is keep it simpler around the edges and more detail into the middle. I wonder if I want to paint on some flowers, so I kind of know what direction things are going to go in. I'm not totally sure. This occurred to me. We could take some matte medium. I don't think we want to. I think we're just going to put a little water in the corner of our brush, thin out our paint. How thin, I don't know. I'm just going to try it. And let's kind of put some little, just hints of stuff going on. I've got a decent amount of paint here, so a little thinner paint will stick. So now I could do it kind of sweeping, or I could bring this one up a little more. Just kind of vary the heights. And what's nice is this is a fairly green, but when you put it over the purple, it mutes. Got a little black in my brush. I don't know that I really mind that, but I don't. Oh, I must have grabbed the tip. When I lifted up, I must have hit the tip. There's a little bit of water. I think I've got too much. It's just kind of, oops. Let's kind of sneak up on the green, because because I want to let some of that color show through. It's pretty. That makes sense. So now I'm just thinking random, letting the color show through. Yeah, nothing's coming off. Okay, do we like that? Just gonna try and soften that a little bit. Sometimes you take a little water and smear it. Kind of got a little paint, a little water. Finger. That's not doing anything. Sometimes I get kind of particular and I don't need to. All right, we're just gonna leave that be. Okay, I think I'm gonna draw my flowers on. I'll be right back. Hey, I thought I'd draw a daisy or a black-eyed Susan in real time. Practice, I mean, it can be annoying, but it's all practice. I've got one where I drew more illustration style daisies. I'll link that video in this description. But so I'm thinking this one's almost at eye level, so I drew it squarish. And these are pointed. This one got really fat, so I just erased it. Oh, and then I was using a new pastel from Prismacolor. Sometimes I use the Hippie Crafter pastels that are an affiliate link in this video's description. I like these and the Hippie Crafter because they're not as dusty. And I also like the General's charcoal white pencil. I think it's calcium or something like that. So somebody told me and I wrote it down and I still don't remember. So thank you for whoever told me, and sorry I forgot. And I tend to do this. I tend to have my flowers looking into the painting, or at least quite a few of them. And then I'm trying to vary the height. So I'm gonna have some weedies. Here, let's put this in maybe. Weedies, not like the cereal, but weeds. Or maybe just buds off in the distance. I think I might put one looking out. Okay. This is just going to be like a brush stroke here. One thing nice is a lot of times I would wait till the next day. Today I'm trying to film it all in one day. Because this will be drier and then the pastel just washes off so much more easily. Or if you live in a really humid climate, you might need a couple days. So what I'm doing is that's that height. So I'm going to bring this up. And I just draw a gumdrop, so round on like a parenthesis and an arch. And then I don't always figure out every flower. A lot of times I'll even have the petals, the stronger petals coming into the painting. So these are kind of like stops to me. I might put, do I want one more up really high? I kind of do. Kind of want some that come up and over. Okay, so that's almost middle. So what I'll do is I'll paint some of the flowers and then I'll come back and add more detail. I kind of figure out where my main ones are going. I'm going to go back to the time lapse so this video doesn't get too long. So what am I doing? What am I thinking? I'm using this 3/8 inch craft brush. I'm gonna clean it out. I mixed some orange and white in my brown just to get coverage. You don't have to do that. You could work with the transparency of the colors underneath. And then I shifted a little bit so they were all kind of the same color, and then I added a little magenta to some of these centers. And I'm trying to make them different so they're not all the same. These have some dark blue, these have some just basically lighter, thinner blue, so it mixes with the color underneath it. These have some brown. I'm just trying to mix them up so they're not all the same. My light's coming from over here, the top left. So, and I'll just keep kind of working on these centers. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We could put a little black, get them, because they're ultimately pretty dark. I just kind of keep working with it. Just dabbing. I don't know what I want to do exactly. Which might sound annoying, I just build it up. It's kind of a pinky color. I've got too much light. I really should probably go dark. After I did that, I'm going to put a little pinky in this one maybe. Just to change it. Let's go darker. Let's just use some brown. Maybe come back and add some light. That might be a little quicker. I thought I'd pop in and paint a little bit in real time. I'll keep the left and top lighter, and maybe even the right. Like there's some reflective color, kind of like I did on this one. Yeah, I'm going to come back and now add light. I do that. I go dark and light, dark to light. Just like with the trees until I'm happy. I don't know if I want reflective color on this one. Or maybe even lose the edge a little bit in the background. That might be kind of fun. I really should work left or right so I'm not dragging my hand through wet paint. That one's actually getting kind of pretty. It might be kind of fun to like put some straight up magenta in it. Then I kind of lost it. That happens. Sometimes I paint too much. Get a little bolder. I tend to go little strokes until I kind of figure out what I want, and then I go bolder. Just, okay, nothing wrong with it. It just takes longer. I'm going to grab a little bit of my sky color. See what I think here. That's actually kind of pretty. And my paint's wet, so I can soften it a little bit. Yep, I think my brush is really dirty, which is okay. I'm gonna scrub my brush off on a paper towel. I probably should wait till this is dry, but I'm gonna see what happens. Anyway, I'm just gonna grab some straight up orange. Okay, let's just leave that alone. That's basically how I would build one up. All right, I'm gonna go back to the time lapse, the rest of the centers, and then I'll be back. Hey, I thought we'd paint a couple puddles in real time. So what am I thinking? Warmer to the top and left. And then I also shifted my color. So I went from a yellow peachy orangey to a little bit pinker, which I think is fun. And now I'm gonna go pretty much cooler and browner. And they're gonna take a couple of strokes. Plus oh, these are gonna be yellow. All of a sudden I went to white. That's okay. We'll paint yellow over these. I totally forgot. I went to white daisies. Gotta remember where you're going. So sometimes I just stick the corner down, squish, pull up. But I want to paint, oh, I just dropped water. I want to paint white, colors with white in it, so that I can come back with the yellow over the top, because my yellow is transparent. And I'm going to put more of these buds in, or they're not buds, they're flowers that have lost their petals. Those might have to come up in value. That'll still help me. Let's go a little more white in there. Well, it's actually kind of pretty. I'll just stop it. So I'm just trying to get variation, if that makes sense. It just makes it more entertaining and more interesting. I definitely gonna need some more weeds. Well, I don't know. But isn't it interesting how the centers get darker? They dry a little darker and then they get darker as I put even the dark petals on. Let's see. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to have this go over. I think I will. So all I'm thinking is I want it a little darker. Oh, that's pretty. Just kind of let it skip. That already got darker. I made that one, did that one all at once. You could go up to a bigger brush too if you wanted. Well, sometimes I don't get it, so I just paint in the whole petal with several brush strokes. I mean, you just don't always get it. Then I'm going to come back anyway and go darker and lighter. Oh, I need to paint this one. I forgot that one. That's kind of cute. Okay, thought I'd paint some of those in real time. I'm gonna go back and put white in where I want the yellow for sure. I totally forgot for a little bit that we're painting yellow flowers. Does that ever happen to you? Put that in the comments. And I'm liking the blues better. I'm liking my sky better because everything's starting to get some depth to it. Here, we'll just do one. And you could paint the whole petal, or you could just leave part of it. Paint part of it white. I'm kind of losing this one. I think I'm gonna come back with some. So where the white is, I might even need another coat of white. Oops. And you could go down in brush size if you want more control. You could go to a round, you know, use the brush you like. So basically now I'm saying, I'm emphasizing my highlights Seeing where I want them to go. I might just leave that. This was kind of in shadow. Maybe I'll wipe off my brush. Oh, actually, maybe we'll pull this out a little bit in value, make it a little lighter. And then maybe just like right there. Kind of do whatever you want. I hope it's looking good. I can't totally, I can see the top of my phone, but I can't really see how it's looking. Putting out larger puddles, your paint stays wet. Like this white will stay wet longer than those small puddles. I think maybe we'll pull this out a little bit. We could kind of pull, define that a little bit more. Okay, guys, I'll be back in a bit. Hey, I thought I'd pop in and paint this last petal in real time, or this last flower. You could, that's pretty. The pinks and the peaches would be pretty white flowers, and you could, but isn't it fun how where I put the white, and I really only put one coat of white, and then I put the yellow over it, I get a nice pop of color. That's glazing, because this cad yellow, oh boy, I don't know if you can see that. The box is half full, so it says that means it's semi-transparent. But I feel like the yellow, because it's a light color, is a little bit more than that, a little bit more transparent, and it'll vary per brand. So all I do is grab some yellow, and I don't always paint yellow over every part of the petal, but most of them, because I want yellow flowers. And I could like come back with some light yellow and white, and do that. Oh, I kind of like it. I got a heavy blob of paint, but I'm going to leave that. Leave it, leave it, leave it. That's just pretty. Glazing or layers, they can mean the same thing sometimes. I'm going to put a little, see if I can grab a little more paint on my brush. I've got water running down my brush. Didn't wipe it off. I'm trying to get a little blob of like catching the light, but it might dry down too dark too. I don't know if that's going to show. I'm just trying to make that a little stronger. And I don't know if it needs it either. Sometimes you do things that doesn't really need it. So I didn't go all the way to the, I just started here with the yellow, and I'm kind of just doing 2/3 of that petal. I think I might just repeat this stroke. Let's see how it dries. Okay guys, I was hoping I was going to get this all done today, but I'm not. It's an 8x8, so it takes a little longer than if I was doing a 6x6 or a 5x7. Also, the reason I time-lapse it too, make it uploadable for us. I'm going to have some dinner, and then we'll get back to this tomorrow. Hey friends, this is for sure the next day. It's evening time. It could be 2 days. I get busy doing other things and I'm not even sure. First, I want to thank you all. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I've got a daylight lamp just up here. It's clamped onto my table, and it's I had it. Well, here, let's slow down. So I think the lighting is better. It has 2 arms and I can split it. And I had one of the arms over this way, but then I was getting a shadow. It's from the Daylight Company. It's a duo arm. I don't have a photo of it. I can link it in this video's description. I think I'm going to like it and I think we'll get better videos, but I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for sending money through PayPal. I used that money and some of my Christmas money to buy it. So I'm hoping the videos will be a little bit better. And then what I'm doing here, this isn't quite a 3/8 inch flat craft brush. It says it's a number 10 Craft Smart. I just am adding leaves, different colors, a couple of buds. That almost looks like a poppy bud. I don't know if how a black-eyed Susan bud, I think they might grow up straighter. That's okay. We could just say there's a couple of poppies in here. And I think I'm gonna add more weeds. We have some coming off. And I could even hint at some flowers in the background. I might do that. I'm just gonna keep filling it up. So I wanted to pop in and thank you guys for the lamp. I couldn't do this without all of you. I couldn't be a full-time professional artist. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Okay, I'm gonna keep working on this and then I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm calling it done. I love the colors. It's really fun. At the end there, I was just trying to add a little more yellow. I've got a lot of purple, and yellow and purple are complements. What else? We'll take a tour here in a second. So as the painting evolves and I get more and more tangles and weeds and things going on, I'm painting slower and slower. Just because, if I race through it, everything's gonna line up. I kind of have some beigey marks, but these are darker. I shift the values a little bit, the color a little bit. And then I realized I wanted some blue. So I've got a little bit of purple. I don't know if it shows, but I've got a little bit of purple up in here. And I wanted to bring some of the blue down into the painting to help unify it. So I put some blue marks over some of my beige brush marks. I put it over the brown one. Put a little blue on the top of that leaf. I made this bluer. I think I like that. Okay, we'll take a tour here. I call those Bob Ross. Call those Bob Ross trees. Just simple. I ended up scribbling. It's been so many days I can't totally remember what all I've talked about. Just smearing a little bit to break up the line. I think I talked about that. We'll just do the tour. Oh, what's also kind of fun is like putting little blue dots. There's some pink down in this one. Just to make the centers of the black-eyed Susans interesting looking. Okay guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I will link, I've got some similar flower painting videos. I'll link some of those in this video's description. Super, super appreciate your support. Great, big, happy art hugs, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye guys.